Hi y'all, this is my first YouTube video that I'm ever gonna film. And it just spoke to me. It just came to my heart, and I just wanted to be real, raw, and honest, and just share my first thoughts today. So this video is gonna be about my mind explosion today, my mind expansion. So I'm chilling in bed, sitting down, doing my nails, and I often talk to myself throughout the day because I'm a loner and I have no friends. So the only person I talk to is myself. I'm talking to myself, chilling, relaxing. And I all of a sudden I'm like, is there two genders? And I'm not even gonna lie. When I asked myself that question, I was like, yeah, there's only two genders in this world, but people can be free to express themselves the way they want to express themselves. So I'm like, what? But like, what's the difference between sex and gender? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I started to think about like, what's the difference? Like, nobody really knows the difference. I never really asked myself the question, what's the difference between sex and gender? So I look it up, and it's gonna sound stupid because it's like a duh, but I never really looked it up before. I mean, nobody ever really like, explains what's the difference between sex and gender. You just hear this argument is that there's only two genders, and there's not only two genders. So you're just like, either pick a side based on, So I always was like, there's only, no, I always was like, I don't know if there's only two genders, but I would always want to be on the side of people that are fighting, people that feel like they're being put down. I always want to be on their side. I always want to try to hear them out and listen to them. So whenever I first heard the argument that there's more than two genders, I was just like, Spirit Queen, you go off. Like, I don't know if there's more than two genders, but I support you. So it wasn't until today that I decided to look up if there's more than two genders. I looked up the difference between sex and gender. And sex is what you're biologically assigned as when you were first born. So like biologically, we got the XX chromosomes and the XY chromosomes, and we got all this different stuff in our body that makes the difference between male and female. So biologically, there's only two sexes based on my understanding. I only just looked this up like 10 minutes ago. Based on my understanding, there's only two sexes, right? There's male and female, and there's also intersex. So you either have one or the other, or you're in the middle. You know what I'm saying? There's only two sexes, male or female, based biologically. So like if you went into the I don't know how it works, because I've been seeing people have like I follow some transgender like people, and they on their driver's license says sex female, but they're a trans woman. So I don't know, but if you go to a hospital or something, they would base everything off of your sex. So there is only two sexes biologically. You know what I'm saying? But gender, the definition of gender is the roles that are assigned to the certain sexes. So as a female, you are supposed to be this gender. Like, you're supposed to follow this role and act this way because you were born a female, right? And if you're a male, you're supposed to act this way and do these things because you're born a male. But gender is a spectrum. There is no right or wrong answer. Gender is a spectrum. There's not only two ways to act. There's not only two things to do. Like, gender is a spectrum. There's so many ways that people can go. There used to be a lot of gender roles. There used to only be two genders, honestly, because back in the day, people, like, if you're a woman, you acted this way, period. If you're a man, you have to be this way, period. There was no other thing. But now people are like, you know what? There is no such thing as gender roles, because we don't have to follow these rules, because we're not in the freaking 50s no more, and women can get jobs, and women can vote, and women can do all these things, and men can cry, and men could put on nails, and men could, you know, like, there's no such thing as these roles anymore. So gender is a spectrum. Gender is multifaceted. I don't know if I used that correctly, but gender is so many different things. It's not just one thing, right? And I think a lot of times people get gender and sex mixed up, and I think that people are arguing, but they're not even like they're miscommunication, like, you know, like people that are arguing that there's only two genders, they're not even arguing the right point, because it's supposed to be there's only two sexes. So yeah, I think they're arguing the wrong point. You know, like, I think in their mind they're like, you can only be male or female. Like, there's no such other thing as a, and it's like, period. You're so right. You can only be male or female. It biologically, not to be, you know, biologically, if a trans woman is still biologically a male, right? Biologically, you know, but gender wise they are a woman, because that's the gender they chose. You can choose genders, because genders are just the roles attached to the sexes, but you cannot choose your sex, because that's biological. Like, you were a male when you were born, and you're gonna be a male when you die, but you can change your gender throughout, because you can pick your gender, because you can pick your roles, you can pick your relation, you can pick your gender, but you can't pick your sex, is what I figured out. But I may be wrong, but that's just my plan. That's a random video, a weird video for my first one, but I just needed to express my opinion and express my new information I recently found. You know, I would have never figured this out if I would have just, you know, because a lot of times your information, and you pick a side based on how you were raised. You know, you pick, you know, if you believe that there are two genders, and you pick if you believe there are more than two genders. And if I was going to base off how I was raised, there is only two genders. But for my own mind, I believe that there's more. You know, I thought there was more than one gender, but I meant two genders, but I had no reason to believe that. I just wanted to believe, you know, the side that was, you know, I just wanted to believe them, but I had no reason to believe. I just thought they were right. But looking it up, I 100% agree with them now. I understand exactly what's happening. And yeah, and I think people that believe there's only two genders, I think that they just haven't looked it up as to the difference between sex and gender, because the point they're arguing doesn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? The point they're arguing makes no sense. It doesn't even go with like the definition. Since they want to be logical about it and scientific about it, they have to choose the right wording, or else their argument doesn't even make sense. But yeah, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this little spill, this little fact. Hopefully one day I'll look back on this and I'll be like, wow, I had no clue. But yeah, peace, love you.